Hey everyone, Fabian, Empire Build Academy. Just wanted to jump into what I'm doing with Evony on the empirebuildacademy.com website. I'm now in the process of adding all of the different events that are on Evony, and of course there is quite a few that I need to work through, but I'm just letting you know that I'm working through them now and I am adding them to the empirebuildacademy.com website. So this is the home screen that you can see, and I've given it a little bit of a makeover, changed a few things around. You can also see there the all ads have now been removed to try and give you the best possible experience. You can consider buying me a beer if you wanted to, but all adverts have been removed. There may be the odd one or two that have slipped through that I haven't noticed. If you do notice them, do let me know. Pretty confident 99% of all adverts are now clear. Going to the Evony and having a look at the Evony side of things, all part of the 9-step process, all added. These are all the different ones that you're going to get there. This is for all of the different games. And then when we go on to the events guide, this is something that I'm working on as we speak. A complete Evony event list, all of the different events going all the way down. And then basically what I'm going to do is section them off like this for all of the different ones. So if we wanted to go into the Arctic Barbarians one, we can click into there. You would get the YouTube video if you wanted to watch the YouTube video, but I've also added it as a blog post if that is something you would prefer to do rather than watching the video. So like I say, all the guides are being added and there's going to be a lot more work done on empirebuildacademy.com. Do please go and support me by following the website. But moving on to the Evony event that we're talking about now, which is Trial of Knights event, which is actually ended, but I can still give a quick overview and a guide as to what it is, and also talk very quickly about the blood trick that people use on the game. So in this guide we're going to cover how the event actually works, the famous free blood trick that lets you gain blood instead of losing it, how to hit 15 to 30k scores as free to play, and the best rewards to buy in the redemption shop. So first of all, what is the Trial of Knights? Let's go over to the game scene now. Trial of Knights is a limited time consuming event that usually runs for about 4 to 7 days, and the concept is quite simple. Every 1 blood of Ares you spend equals 1 event score. You gain these scores by ascending generals using blood of Ares. Let's go and have a look at the Trial of Night event first, which you will find in your valuable event. This is it here, and this is the ranking. You can see that I spent 3,750 blood of Ares, which got me into 20th place. And with those points, you can spend that inside the Trial of Night's redemption shop, which you can get blood of Ares, or you can use it to get generals such as Marcus Agrippa and Lucian. I've managed to ascend them all the way to 5-star using this event. There are also personal ranking rewards, meaning players with high scores will receive extra blood of Ares, gems and rare items, and your score does reset when the event ends, so always spend them before the timer expires. So if we go back into this is what I'm talking about, the scores resetting. That will go back to 0 and you do the whole process over again the next time it is on. So how the event really works, like I say, it's all about ascending that general. And again, if I just go into my generals, and you can see those juicy generals there, I can go into one of these, I can go into the enhancement, and then I can use blood of Ares to ascend the general. So if I was using this one here to go to that first level on this 5th-star ascension, I would get 150 points, which I could then go and use to redeem for those different types of rewards in the actual event. And the event comes with many different rewards you can get. It's not just the fragments for those generals that I was talking about. There are other things as well, such as the dragon source fragments. We can also get some dragon coins in there. Treasure chests. I actually like the treasure boxes and using these because they come with some really decent buffs. But again, my priority, especially if I haven't got those ascended generals, the ranged and the ground that come with this, that would be my priority at the start. So the trick that people talk about, this is where you dismiss a general that has been ascended. The game refunds a large portion of the blood of Ares used, and I think it is the rule that 80% of the blood used when the general is perfectly dismissed, it makes this blood trick possible. So what am I talking about and how does it work? Well, I'll show you exactly how I understand this. I've never done this before, and I went ahead and I was really intrigued as to what this trick is, because if you're getting blood of Ares for free, then I'm all for it. Anything that's going to be given for free on these games is definitely something you're going to want to do because it doesn't come around very often. So let me explain how the trick works. We go into a general, and the idea is you would actually choose a general that you've got quite a lot of fragments of. And when you are looking for that kind of person, there's normally some that you sort of end up with tokens all the time. There's many examples, and Queen Jindyok, I'll use her as an example actually, because she is there with the blood of Ares. I've got plenty of fragments to be able to ascend her to the next level, as you can see here. And this is the Blood of Ares cost to take her to the level. Now, the idea is that you would take Queen Jindia all the way through these different ascensions. So let's just say, imagine I went to 1 star and I was spending the 80, the 80, the 80, the 80. And I think the last one is 160. Let's just use that as the maths at the moment. So that'd be 80, 160, 320, 480 Blood of Ares that I would have used out of my 8,914. Then what you would do is you would perfectly dismiss her. And when you perfectly dismiss her, so if I was doing it via this method here, I would get the fragments back for the general, and I would also get the Blood of Ares back at 80% for dismissing her. So then what you would do is you would actually go back into the valuable event, you would go to the Trial of Knights, and you would redeem the Blood of Ares via this method here, using the points that you just got for ascending Queen Jindia. So taking all that into consideration, I understand the maths behind it. I really do. You are ascending a general, you are dismissing that general, you are getting 80% back, but then you're adding additional Blood of Ares from the shop, which then can look like you've made Blood of Ares, if that makes sense. But in reality, you're not gaining, because you are only getting 80% Blood of Ares back. So although it looks like in the short term that you are gaining, every time you're dismissing that general and only getting 80% back, you've lost 20% Blood of Ares. It's gone. That 20% is gone. And if you do it once, twice, 3 times, 4 times, doesn't matter. Every time you are losing 20% of the Blood of Ares. That's the way I see it. And if someone can tell me different, then again, please do let me know in the comments. So for me, the Blood of Ares trick doesn't really make sense. Now, there is a case where people can say, yeah, but if you don't have much of Blood of Ares in the first place, you can do this and it will allow you to redeem that full 1,000, etc. But it's still, for me, the same argument is there. You are still losing out on 20% Blood of Ares every time you're doing this. And that, to me, just doesn't make sense. Whether I'm free to play, whether I'm a payer, why would I want to be losing 20% of something that I already have? It really doesn't make sense. So that's my opinion on it. Personally, myself, what I'd rather be doing is spending my Blood of Ares ascending the generals that I have to the next level, then going in and redeeming what I've done. So if I spend 1,000 Blood of Ares and I go back into the shop on the Trial of Knights event tab, so going back into it here, clicking into redeem, that's what I'm going to do. Where the confusion has come from is because you are redeeming 1,000, and because of the way the maths have worked, it sort of makes you feel like you've gained, but you haven't. And that's the key part. I'm going to reiterate it again. And if someone can break it down to me in the comments a little bit simpler, then again, I'm here for it. This is exactly why I make these videos. I'm intrigued as to how people do things. I'm intrigued as to the theory behind things. And for me, I can't get away from the theory that I'm losing 20% Blood of Ares. I'm losing it every time I do it. Doesn't matter if I redeem that 1,000. That 1,000 is giving me a false number on what I've actually got back. And it makes more sense to continue ascending your generals in the way that we always do. And if you haven't got enough, tough. That's the way I see it. So I was actually going to go ahead and do this. And I didn't realise actually that the Blood of Ares event is over. But when looking at this before, I almost fell into the theory of, yes, let's do this. But I'm kind of glad I haven't. And I don't know if people are doing this over and over again. I really don't. Maybe I'm missing something. Maybe I'm genuinely missing something. I've actually gone away from the video, and when I was preparing the video and getting everything to say about the video, sometimes I can be misguided. Sometimes I can not understand what it is. And this is why I like throwing it back to you guys. This is why I like to say, let me go to my lovely picture that I've got. This is what I'm saying. You're the expert. I'm not the expert. I'm someone who goes and has a look at a theory, goes and has a look at a guide, tries to digest it in my own way, and then portray that back across a video in the way that I deliver. That's what I do. I'm not saying I'm a pro at it. I'm not saying I'm good at it, but that's what I do. That's it. And then I have people mentioning in the comments, you're wrong. You didn't think about this. You haven't done this. Have you looked at that? And then I can go go away from that and go, actually, yeah, I've made a mistake. You're right. And because of that, my account is now getting much, much better. And I'm now starting to get to a stage where I think, actually, no, I can do something with this account. But with this Blood of Trials event, I'm ending this video now, and I'm ending this video on, I don't understand. I really don't. So to finish off, ranking rewards is also something that I mentioned, and I just want to jump back into the ranking rewards to show you that if you are spending that Blood of Ares, and let's use the example of the one that's just ended. If I was going into the ranking, you could see Divine Aura has spent 16,400 Blood of Ares. I would get nowhere near that, but if I'd have wanted to be in the top 10, I would have needed to spend 5,200 of that Blood of Ares to do that. And when you go into the ranking rewards, they're actually quite decent, but they're definitely more decent in the top 10. The person who's finishing in first place is getting 800 Blood of Ares, and forget the other rewards. That's the key there. And if there is an opportunity for you to push into the top 10, and at some point I will do it myself, then yeah, it's definitely worth doing. In reference, other things you can also get, as I mentioned, I don't know if I did it in the video, so I'm sort of might be repeating myself. I tend to do that a lot, so apologies if I've done it in this video. But there are things like Dragon Sword fragments, there are Dragon coins, there are the treasure boxes, which I've mentioned that I love, and also tactic scrolls, etc., all the way down. The event itself is very, very simple. Just again to talk about that, you're spending Blood of Ares, ascending your generals, and when you ascend those generals, those Blood of Ares turn into points, which you can redeem in here for different rewards. Now, if you are ascending your generals outside Trial of Knights, you are doing it wrong. That is not what you should be doing. You should definitely 1000% be ascending your generals only when Trial of Knights is on. And that is why it's crucial that you are maximizing your Trial of Knights rewards. Preparation is key. You should be getting as much of that Blood of Ares that you can from all of the different events. And that's pretty much it. Let's just summarize it in 2 minutes for the final video. You go into your general, you go into one that needs ascending. My duty generals are always needing ascending. They're the easiest ones to get hold of if you haven't got anyone to ascend. And also they come with some decent buffs at the different breakdowns of the 5-star ascension. So the next time that I will do this, the event is now over. I'm not spending any Blood of Ares, but going on Oleg as an example, I would use my Blood of Ares to ascend him to the next level. And the idea is that I would send him all the way to 5-star, spending all that Blood of Ares, taking him so I get that final 5th-star ascension, and then getting those points, redeeming them in the Trial of Knights shop, and that is the end of the process. It's as simple as that. It really is very, very simple. The blood trick, which I've obviously talked a lot about in here and is a key part of that thumbnail that I created, is for me a non-event. It's a non-event. You're spending Blood of Ares, you are then dismissing a general, you are then getting 80% of that Blood of Ares back, and then you are using those points that you've used to ascend that general to go back into the Trial of Knights shop to get the 1000 Blood of Ares. And again, I'll show you that on here very quickly. If we go into here, this is the theory behind it. You would dismiss that general, you would go into here, and then you would be able to get eventually all 1000 points in here via this method. That's where I think the mistake has come, in my own personal opinion. I think that the way that process works makes it look like you are gaining. You are not, because you are never getting away from the fact that you are dismissing a general, wasting 10,000 gems every time you dismiss a general, and all the fragments and the EXP and all this kind of stuff that goes into it. You don't lose fragments, but you do lose EXP. To do that again until you've got that 1000. But again, like I say, the way the process works makes it look like you are gaining Blood of Ares. You are not gaining Blood of Ares. You are losing 20% every time you do this. If I've got this wrong, again, you're the expert. Please do let me know in the comments. And also, if you are watching this video and you're not subscribed to the channel and this is the kind of content you enjoy, I've also got a website, empirebuildacademy.com, where I'm planning to put everything that I make on there as well. Then please do consider subscribing to the channel, and I will see you in another video very soon. Thanks for watching.